My name is Dave Parker. My wife Stephanie and I have been coming to Northbridge since the very first Sunday. My wife Stephanie and I, big food people, we used to go to the Sunday brunch buffets instead of church, basically. We talked about going to church and then we'd go to the buffets. We get a card in the mail that says, hey, brand new church from ground zero. We thought, oh, nobody's going to know anybody. This would be great. This is perfect for us. And so 9/11 happens, and we start wondering, is this really, at least they're going to have church? So my wife actually calls the number, and she believes she spoke with Mark and asked if they were going to have service, and he said absolutely. So we thought, well, I don't know, it might be weird or not. We went anyway, and the first service, I got kind of a kick out of it because you could tell it was the first service. It was a little chaotic, which is what you'd expect, and it's kind of brought us to wanting to come back. Eventually, we got involved in the discovery group that kind of morphed into a small group, and just got into the Word a lot more and got a better understanding of what really a Christian really is. Eventually, my wife, who's rather a skeptic, basically said she was ready to give her life to Christ, and that pulled me. I started serving on the finance team as a counter back in the day when we had cash, and we got a lot of cash in. They needed counters each week, so I would help the treasurer. I was also on the team that was searching for facilities or land for our future home. There was an ad that we put out, and we put it in the Advertiser. Shout out to the OGs that remember the Advertiser. And I got a phone call from a gentleman named Elmer, who is the executor of the estate that handled this property. We kind of had our eye on a couple places. None of them were great. This one had nothing on it except a farmhouse. So there was some interest because we didn't have to do a lot of work to it to prep a building. However, we had to build a building. So there's that. Pastor Mark calls me and says, I think I'm going to put it out there that we're going to try to raise $1 million. And I thought, $1 million? Like at one time? In 3 years, this church, our budget's maybe $200,000. Not big. And that's a big number. And I said, what happens if you put it out there and we don't get it? And he said, no, I feel like God's telling me $1 million. And then I basically told him, hey, it's Caleb going after hill country, baby. And he actually said, I'm going to have to change my message a little bit. He liked that. Shortly thereafter, we find the land, and the asking price is 1.3. And then eventually Elmer calls and says, I'll take $1 million. He basically told me that he was not a believer, was not a churchgoer, but him and his siblings would like to see a church beyond those grounds. We get pledges for $1.2 million, and we're giving 20% away for church planting to the conference. So we basically raised $1 million, and that's the asking price. And I got goosebumps. My heart exploded. I don't know how else to explain it to you. I don't know that not a lot of people in the congregation even knew that was going on. So when I was telling people, they couldn't believe it. It's almost like they didn't believe me. Stephanie and I have been a part of all 3 campaigns thus far. So we had Build a Bridge first. We actually prayed separately, and both came up with the same number, which is crazy. Then we had the Kingdom Project, which was happening during the biggest financial fiasco this country's ever seen. I actually was trying to start a business, didn't have any income, so that was stretching to try and contribute to that. Then we had Mission 173. We were coming out of some debt that we had gotten a part of that was putting us underwater. And each time it seemed like, for a different reason, we were being stretched financially and mentally. Contributing to a capital campaign can be scary. I get that. I've been through 3 of them. As Christians, we're called to give our time, our talent, and our treasure. But it's another level to take another step, and sometimes it's giving something up. It's doing something else so that you can perhaps contribute. As a member of the finance team, I like the idea of debt reduction. So my brain is telling me debt reduction, that's great. But my heart is really adding those rooms for kids. That's part of the reason why we came to church. That's the real reason. Just know that when you see something like this go through, it just puts things on a different level. And to know that you're a part of that in any way is honoring God, and it's an honor to do it.